Hello everyone, and welcome to the ASMR review show. Well, I finally did it. What did I do? I'll tell you what I did. I finally played all of the God of War games. Yeah, this was probably a bit of a long time coming. I know there'd been a few people asking me to play this series, and well, I did it. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Plato, friend of Socrates. So yeah, here we go. This is God of War 3. Now, why 3? So, I played every God of War game, except I have not, at this time of recording, played Ascension, and I have not played Ragnarok. Those will be, well, I might play Ascension. I've heard it's not that great. Not everyone really liked it. And I'm going to play Ragnarok, but I had to buy that one if I would do that, and it's a full price game right now, so maybe I'll wait until that one comes on sale, perhaps. But I originally was trying to record God of War 1 and 2, and I found it a little tricky because I had to play those on PS3, and I find it tricky to record on PS3. I've got to use my capture card. It's tricky to get it to work properly because you gotta bypass the whole, what is it, not HDR. It's like the thing to prevent you from recording, right? What do you call it? You need a splitter for that. And then I can't be like recording and then do a part and then save it for later. The flashback recording causes the file size to get very large. So I thought I would just play those to play them because sometimes I just like to play a game and, play it to go in with the knowledge that I'm making a video on it. Kind of ruins my enjoyment because, I've got to be at the know of when's the boss fight happening, when's the next part I need to record, and I kind of just like to take it as is. But with God of War 3, this is the PS4 remaster done by Bluepoint, which is being played on PS5, and that's easy for me to record that, because all I gotta do is hit the save button and the share button, and I can save as much as I want, up to an hour. So I find it very easy to record and save games on those ones. Yeah, so that's what I did, and it's already quite a sizably long video, so perhaps that'll give me enough chance to talk about the other games in the series. And I usually find my videos to be quite lengthy, but I end up finding enough to talk about anyways, and I'm sure we'll have a few things to discuss. So, yeah, let's see where to begin. Well, let's start at the beginning. We've got the intro here, and we have the whole start to it with us needing to take down the Titans. Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. And the big awesome menu at the start. Yeah, that looks quite nice indeed. So, like most God of War games, we start off with going straight from the main menu into the game, which is awesome. Love how that was a running staple of the game. Yeah, so my overall thoughts, well, I actually really was surprised by how much I enjoyed God of War 1 and God of War 2. I didn't have super high expectations because they are, 20-year-old games, and I didn't know how well that was going to go over. But I was actually very, very impressed by that, so that is good. Also, I'm pretty sure we got a Wilhelm scream coming up here. Where is it? There it is. Wow. I'm just getting it right out of the way. There's usually one in every game, So they're getting it out of their system, you know. And yeah, we have the big mountain of Olympus with all of the titans that we unleashed, climbing up to fight the gods. The big epic clash of the titans. Guys, Olympus is that way. Yeah. So, well, I guess I didn't really talk what this video is. We're gonna fight all the bosses of the game, and I'm gonna talk about them, except for Aphrodite, because I don't want this video to get banned. You know, it seems like a lot of people in their full Let's Plays of the game had that scene cut out, and I can't find it on YouTube, so I'm just gonna follow suit with that. So no Aphrodite, I'm sorry, even if it is a really great boss, you know. And here we have the Titans, all in their full HD glory. Poseidon, Hermes, Zeus, and Hades. Oh yeah. And we can't forget, what is it? Helios, right? I didn't recognize him with his head on top, you know. Seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. I hope nothing happens to it. But yeah, so God of War 1, that was a fun game. It gave me very Prince of Persia vibes. Oh, it's Hercules, I see. And that's because it was like, you know, the idea that you're in a temple for most of it, and you're going around said temple and solving puzzles and fighting enemies, which is funny because I'd actually never played any Prince of Persia game in full, but that's what it reminded me of. And that was a fun one. It was just like quick, straight to the point. You know, you start the game, you fight a Hydra. Okay, that's great, that's good. And then you go through Athens, and you fight enemies, and you see that there's Ares, and he's like a super tall guy rampaging in the battlefield in the distance. And I was playing the PS3 remaster of it, but I was just really impressed by like how well this game held up. You know, nearly 20 years old, and like the controls work, the graphics work, the gameplay works, the voice acting's top, the music is great. And that was just really refreshing. I just like that, you know. Sometimes you go to play an old game and, you know, maybe the control scheme is a little awkward. Maybe the voice acting's a little dated. You know, there's a few things here and there. They don't always work, right? Like, I love Shadow of the Colossus, but a lot of people can't really handle the control scheme of that one much anymore. You know, but I think it works just fine. But that's why they also changed the scheme around in the remake of it. So, yeah, but I didn't get that vibe from God of War 1. Even the supposed worst part of the game, the climbing out of hell section, that one actually was not too bad. I didn't really take much issue with it. You know, I didn't have much trouble, and it had a very fun, cool vibe to it, you know. And there was a fun boss fight at the end against Ares, and you know, you end it playing as becoming the God of War. Yeah, overall it was really great. I was very impressed by it. So there's your mini review of God of War 1. I'm not worried about talking too much about other games because this is a long video. We'll have plenty of time because some of these boss fights are quite lengthy, so that's good. But I thought God of War 1 was good. Man, God of War 2, that's how you do a sequel. It was just like, don't mess with what you already got, right? Don't break what don't need to be broken. Just take the formula and throw in a few little tweaks to it, and there you go. Now, I've heard this thing referred to as a hippocampi, the hippocampus, like the part of the brain. The hippocampus, what? Is that the official designation? I don't know. I just know that this thing was actually a little tricky for me because the camera's kind of so far back in some points I can't really tell like how close I am to the boss or what I'm hitting, or when am I supposed to dodge. But that's okay, it's not like it's meant to be super challenging what it is, your tutorial. Man, this is a fun fight. This is really showing you how much they pushed that PS3 to the limit with this one. I remember I played the demo of this game back in the day when it came out, and it was the Helios section. And I remember played the demo and I thought, this is the most gorgeous looking game ever. Graphics will never look better than this. And I mean, to an extent I was kind of right, because maybe the graphics got better, but the art direction didn't, per se, and not in many games. So, yeah, but I remember that got me hyped for it, but then it seemed like when God of War 3 came out, it had a lot of haters. And I remember lots of people kind of were sour about the ending, the whole Pandora plot. Seems like not everyone was a fan of that. And so I kind of thought that this was a game that like was really loved up until its final moments, and then it seemed to me that like God of War 2 was the clear best one in the franchise, what people talked about, up until the new ones, but that's a story for later. We'll get to that. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But yeah, God of War 2, man, that was a fun game, That game starts out, you fight the Colossus of Rhodes, you go defeat Typhon, and you get his power, you free Prometheus from eternal torment, and then you spend the majority of it on that whole island of creation, and that's a fun place. Again, kind of taking a similar concept. I didn't really know how these games worked, but I really liked the idea of like you're in a main area and it's weird and it's different and there's lots of creatures and people and monsters and you fight all these, very significant figures across Greek mythology, like Perseus and Theseus. That was just really fun. And you're there for the majority of it. And you throw in a few more tweaks, like having a couple extra weapons, a few new abilities, some really fun puzzles, revamping a few little things here and there, like, oh, you can slide down walls faster, little bits like that. Just all these little things that just make it all that much better. And that's how you do a sequel. Reminded me very much of Dead Space 2 in that way. You don't mess with the formula. You just add a few more tweaks, new guns, really make the story intense, and with a super badass ending, and there you go. You got yourself a contender for one of the best sequels. So, that one was a lot of fun. Really liked it. And then this gets us to God of War 3. Now, I also really, really loved this game. I do have a few, minor nitpicks, though, and it's not much. It's just, a few things if I, had to get very gripey. I would say, 2 did it better than 3 in this way. One being the alternate weapons. In God of War 2, you get a hammer and you get, a Darth Maul spear. Like a twin blade sort of thing. Whereas in here, you get the Hades claws, which are very much just like the blades of Olympus. Or you get the electric ones from Hephaestus, and they function very similarly, just a different color. It's only the Hercules columns, how do you call them, the Cestus, Catus? I don't know how you say that word. Those are really fun and they function differently. So I didn't like that my alternate weapons in this game weren't as versatile of a play style as the other ones, right? So that's a minor nitpick. But if I had to be particular, I also felt that level design, this game has a lot of backtracking, like a lot of back and forth. You're in hell, you go up to Olympus, you go down to the labyrinth, you go back down to hell. So a lot of back and forth. And I thought the flying segment, it kind of reminds me of the Dead Space 2 flying segment. I thought that was cool at the beginning, and then it kind of got a little tiresome by the end of like multiple times of going back and forth. Whereas in God of War 2, like you're in an area, this island of creation, and you're always going to like some kind of new path or area in it, or unlocking new places. So there's always this forward progression, and you kind of know like I'm in this place for the majority of time, so it's not like you're feeling like your time's wasted. So not like, oh, we should be almost there, like a certain other game that had a lot of back and forth. I'm talking about God of War 4, but again, I'm trying not to get into that one too much yet. And this is the part that was confusing me. I was like, when do I do it? No, do I do it there? I think I actually died in this part here. I don't remember. I think I did. I hope I cut it out properly. Oh, there we go. See, I didn't know I was supposed to wait to do that. I thought I was supposed to go grab the thing right away. They did a fun thing with the quick time events, and that is, you see they put all the buttons to the sides of the screen that they corresponded. And it was a change I actually liked. I thought it was going to be a little annoying, but it was basically like the whole part of the screen glows, so I don't have to think, oh, it's triangle or is it circle. I just know, oh, it's the up one, and that's triangle. I felt that made it easier to circumnavigate the QuickTime events. Though the one change that they did that actually made it harder for me was when you have to move the analog stick. There's like an arrow, and the arrow like lights up, and I found that like for some reason like the time it takes me to register the direction of the arrow lighting up was slow enough for me to fail the QuickTime event. Like if it had just been an arrow saying left, that would have been easier, but because I'm slowly watching like the left arrow fill up, I don't know, I felt that kind of messed with me a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but that was a thing. So yeah, this fight's still going. They don't skimp out on these fights, I don't really know how you're supposed to dodge some of these attacks, but I think you've got enough health that it don't really matter too much, which is nice. But this is how you start off a game. You fight Poseidon on the back of Gaia, climbing up Mount Olympus. Like, no, I failed that one too. Like, yeah, that's a boss fight. And then the other two that I actually played and I really enjoyed were the PSP games, Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. I wasn't originally going to, because I thought I'd have to go through the trouble of emulating them perhaps, right? But then I actually just randomly found at a store that they had gotten PS3 releases. Are you finished? Thanks. So I ended up playing both of those, and those are also quite fun. They're very short and simple, very rudimentary, because they are, PSP releases, right? There's not going to be too much to them, but I was quite impressed by how well that they still held up. There's fun fights, nice level design, good environments, controls all work nice, the graphics look good. It's hard to compare them because again they are PSP releases, right? Like Chains of Olympus was so short I finished it in one evening, but I enjoyed that evening, and I think that's what matters, right? I'm a really big believer in like old school length of games, I've really been fed up with modern games, you know. Perhaps this is just the nostalgia in me showing, but like I liked being able to like go on a Friday night to like a Blockbuster or a Rogers Video, rent a game, hang out with your friend, have a sleepover, and like between that evening and the next morning just to bang out that whole game in that time, you know. Just being able to rent a game. Like I can't imagine in this day and age like renting a new story game and only being able to have it for a week. I mean, I know renting isn't really much of a thing anymore, but that's just how I feel in that regard. Man, Gaia's really doing not great, you know. Do we need to play a King Gizzard song to help pump you up, perhaps? Oh, and now we're back here again. But it's even worse. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just something about it. I liked being able to complete most of these games in like a couple of evenings, a couple of short sessions. Because I don't know, I just feel like games, they throw in side quests, open world bits, make the story really long, and there's this misconception that longer equals better. And, you know, I'm a big believer in it's not about size, it's what you do with it, you know. Wait a minute. Because I felt like every moment of these games was memorable and fun. Whereas, like, I felt God of War, as I'm calling it, has so much extra padding to it, and I just got so bored with that game. And, oh yeah, we just ripped him right out of the heart of his big beast god mode form. That was badass. So, yeah, it's weird that I'd say I almost enjoyed Chains of Olympus more than I did God of War, but like I think I've just become dull and desensitized to the video game equivalent of Oscar bait. That is a third-person, over-the-shoulder game where a gruff male figure learns to be a human again as he hangs out with his surrogate child, who has special magical powers, and escorts them across a world that wants them for dead. I think I described the plot of about 5 different games there that were all the big awards contenders, and that's just not my scene. You know what? If you're all into those games, that's great, but Last of Us, God of War, that's not really my thing. Witcher 3 is a bit different. Anyway, here we go. This game is just telling you right off the bat, this is a lot more violent now that we've got the PS3 graphics. It goes into first-person mode, and you get to see what it's like in full glory of how it looks like when Kratos decides he's had enough of your stuff, you know. Oh, well, let's see, we can show all this violence, but we can't show the Aphrodite scene. That would be bad. Oh man, this is such a great scene, you know. You already don't like this Poseidon guy, he's been messing up Gaia. She's my girl, she's my bro. And here he goes, give him the old Blade Runner treatment. This one's for you, Pedro Pascal. It could have been worse, we could have took him golfing. And yeah, we just murdered Poseidon, god of the sea. How is that going to impact the world, you know? Oh, that's how it's going to impact it. It's going to be bad. Man. See, that's the thing, is I think we've established it's like Kratos isn't exactly a good guy, you know. I feel like his collateral damage is somewhere in the millions at this point, perhaps. This is the thing, so I don't really know if they said it in God of War, and again, I haven't played Ragnarok yet, but I don't really know how he per se got from the world of Greek mythology to the world of Norse mythology. Perhaps he just went through another realm of sorts. I don't know exactly, but again, maybe that's explained, and I just haven't got to it yet, which, is a possibility. It could be, or it could not be, I don't know. I also do miss the save stations saying, like, Athena has given you the opportunity to save your progress, and then when you get betrayed, Gaia has given you the opportunity to save your progress. I miss those a bit. Now it's just like, hey, you want to save? Oh, alright, fine, if you say so. There's like fun little touches to it. And yes, here we are. At last we arrived to Olympus. But Zeus was pissed. That's basically the subtitle of this game is, but Kratos was pissed. But Athena was pissed. And I guess it was a little bit of a cop-out in the end of God of War 2 that you go through a whole fight with Zeus, only to not kill him. Like, you win, but you don't. Just for Athena to die instead. And then it all leads up to another fight with Zeus. But, they made him a different fight in his own way, so, it wasn't the same fight again. They managed to give them all very distinct phases and moments, so I don't take too much of an issue with that. Though it is funny seeing how many times Kratos has managed to escape out of hell, and how many times he's, like, been a badass, and then had to lose his power, and get nerfed back to square one. And, oh damn, that's bad, right? That is very bad. So I feel like the intro, is the intro a cop-out? Well, I would say it works. They knew they couldn't have the whole Titan storm Olympus, and that's the game, right? Be over too soon. Can't have just the climax to it. So they gave you a chance to be the badass and have the Titan storm Olympus, and still also set you back to square one and have you have to climb out of hell again. But this time they made it like the most detailed climbing out of hell segment that there was. In the first one, you just had like the sort of puzzle platforming bit with going through some challenges and some traps. And the second one, it's a very quick little moment where you just gotta like defeat all the hands that are trying to grab you. And so then in this one, there's like a whole level and a boss fight associated with it. So I like that a lot. Defeated the Hydra, defeated Ares. What else? I may have, killed my family along the way. Oops. So yeah, at the time of playing this, the only Greek pantheon, shall we say, game that I didn't play was Ascension. And I heard a lot of people weren't the biggest fan of that one, per se. Something about it, people said it was kind of stylistically different. They just didn't really dig it a lot. Oh, hey, the river sticks, and, oh, hey, no, I need those. Can you give those back, please? I need those. That's my health. It's the good old Demon Souls treatment. Why is half my health bar missing? Yeah, so no more magic either. So I haven't played Ascension. I know you fight like the Furies in that, like Megara, Tisiphone, and Alecto. And that's cool. The other game I have also played at the time of recording this is Hades. And you will at some point get a video on Hades. It won't be exactly an all bosses video, because what I did is I was going to record the final run to show how I beat the game, and then I found out that in the final boss against Hades, he just simply doesn't fight you. So then I went back and did another run to actually get a proper Hades boss fight. It's more just to show you some Hades gameplay, and we'll talk more about that when we get into it. But yeah, and that was actually kind of what kicked this off, is I was playing Hades. I just sort of started playing it, and it was a lot of fun. really, really got hooked in it. I think I put nearly like 100 hours into that game. Because it was just fun. Like, oh, I've got an hour. Okay, I'll bang out like a quick run in that game and get some story. And that was a really fun roguelike game to play. Really enjoyed it a lot. And so that kind of led to me being like, well, I'm already in the mood for some of the Greek type mythology games. And so then I decided, well, why don't we play God of War finally? And I actually had tried to play these like 2 years ago, I think, and it just wasn't the vibe. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the style. I'm very much like, I need to be into the zone of whatever the game is for me to be able to play it and be into it a lot. Because if I'm not, then I'm not motivated to do it, and I don't care. There's a lot of games that like I started playing and it wasn't my vibe, it wasn't my style, and I'm always worried about playing like too long of a game, because so many of them, it's all third person, open world, crafting collectible stealth elements with choices, and I'm just not into that. Like, I kind of like being able to just like play a game, bang it out in like a week at max, and then that's it, I'm done. It takes something really special to be able to hold my interest in longer than that, or to make it not feel like homework, or make it feel tedious. Here we go, Hades, the pits of Tartarus. Oh yeah, look at the glorious graphics on that. The sheen is ridiculous, I love it. So, yeah, but thankfully, old school God of Wars really fit the bill on that, got me invested. And here we go, we have this puzzle, a puzzle that involves us using the coffin of Persephone to ram it through a statue of Hades. Yeah, Persephone, who killed her, you know, who could have done that? Oh yeah, that was me. Oops. I know, I'm sorry, Persephone, you deserved better than that. Perhaps I misjudged you. But yeah, I kinda killed her in Chains of Olympus, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, my bad. Oh dear. That was a fun boss fight too. It was a fun way to end it, you know. But I'm sorry, Persephone, you deserved better. I should have just broken out of hell to rescue you. Murdered Athena, I did. Killed Poseidon, I did, but he was kind of asking for it. And what else have I done? Butchered my beautiful queen Persephone. Well, again, she was gonna like destroy the earth and then would like kill off my daughter's spirit, so I kinda had to. Your soul is mine. What is this, Mortal Kombat? And here we go, first thing he tries to do is like, you know, like pull out my soul, like he's a Dementor or something. And here we go, good old Hades boss fight. I was actually, well, I don't know if I was surprised that he was one of the earlier fights, but, you know, I didn't know when we'd be encountering him from the way I heard people talk about him as like a really good boss, an intimidating fight, and one of the better fights. And I thought perhaps he was like a later game fight, but no, he's here now, and I'm okay with that. This is a good fight. You know, we've gone through the underworld, through hell, and there's been lots of fun little bits and moments here. Like, oh, who was it I had to kill to get the fire bow? Was it Persephone's brother? I think it was. Or, no, it wasn't Daedalus, but he had a name like that. I forget who. I just remember I kind of had to light him on fire. My bad. And, Yeah, so there are a lot of fun bits, and oh, I see, I gotta jump and I gotta dodge. Okay, I get it now. I see your shtick. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to rip off a pound of flesh. This one took me a few attempts to figure it out, because at first I thought, like, do you attack the thing? And I was attacking it, but like nothing was happening, and I kept getting hit by like the hands. So then it'll take me a few moments. Okay, just give past me a little bit. Go easy on him, okay? Past me, he's got a little something on me, since he decided to, put on weight or something like that. But yeah, so very fun fight indeed, and I can see why it's one of people's favorites. It's got a lot of different fun phases and moments to it. And I found that was a trick. Use the arrows, knock it a little further away, right? Or at least I thought that was the trick. Didn't seem like it worked anyways, though. Nope, maybe it wasn't. Better luck next time. But he's getting the right idea. The one thing I also didn't use a lot of was like the rage mode. Because I just never knew when I was going to be able to get enough rage again to like use it. I called it my retirement rage, which is fitting because in the first God of War it took a lot to recharge the rage meter. It seemed like in God of War 2 though, it was very quick that it recharged. Again, maybe I'll get it this next time. So I used it a lot more in God of War 2. I don't remember how fast it recharged in this one, per se. I don't know. And I used the rage a lot more in God of 4 because you have Ratatoskr, and he just gives you rage, and that's nice. Good old squirrel bro. Angry British squirrel bro sounded like he's like an angry Michael Sheen or an angry David Tennant. I love it. But oh, I think we've got something there. Hey, I think we did it. Well done. Okay, so now we gotta keep doing this, right? What's his new thing now? I was like, I gotta get to the... Nope. I realized it too late. Oh well, better luck next time. And now what he's trying to go to a plunging attack. That's the most reliable move in the game, But yeah, I think Hades in the original was voiced by Nolan North, and then in this one he's voiced by Clancy Brown. And I think that's great. It's funny, knowing that Mr. Krabs is like, Kratos, you're wasting me money and I own your soul. Or I also think Clancy Brown is being from Highlander, Oh, aren't they doing a Highlander remake with Henry Cavill? That's interesting. But like, you gotta make, like, the thing is, OG Highlander, I don't know if it's a good movie, but it's a fun movie, It's got, what's his name, Christopher Lambert, not talking like a human. There can be only one. You got Sean Connery as like what is he, like an Egyptian Scotsman or something. You got Clancy Brown as like some mod rocker type guy, 80s metalhead. What's it? Better to burn out than fade away. And then you've also got a soundtrack by Queen. How great is that? So you gotta keep some element of that in it. If you try to make it serious, it would just be weird. I've never actually bothered with any of the Highlander sequels, but everyone just says they're bad. Like, Highlander, there should be only one. All I know is Highlander 2 is like one of the worst. Apparently one of the worst sequels ever. I don't know what makes it so bad, but maybe I don't want to find out. Where am I going? Nailed it. Nice. So, yeah, we'll see about that. But But too bad there's going to be no more seasons of the Witcher TV show, right? You know, because Henry Cavill, he's done, so there's no more Witcher. That's it. It's done. Yeah, I've been trying with some of the TV shows, man, but this just ain't it, you know? Oh, Cerberus. I can't give Cerberus pets. No, that's the other game. Like I tried with Rings of Power. I just can't, man. It's Rings of Power isn't bad. You know, I'm not complaining that it's like woke nonsense. It's just boring. I just don't care about the characters. The show looks pretty, but the episodes are like 70 minutes long and nothing happens. I just don't care, you know. That's all I can say. It's like I want to watch Andor season 2, but I barely remember anything about Andor season 1, so I decided to rewatch it. And oh man, some of those episodes are a slog. It's a good show, I guess, but I don't get why people say this is like the greatest thing ever in Star Wars. I'm guessing because it's the one thing that people say is good, whereas, you know, they hate everything else in Star Wars. So this is automatically the best thing because it's not bad. But like, man, some of the episodes, nothing happens and it's not interesting to watch. Like, I'm not saying I need it to be like explosions and lasers and lightsabers and all that. Obviously, it can be more than that, but it needs to be interesting in its own way. I think the main issue I found on rewatching season 1 is the show's called Andor, but it's not really about Andor because in so many of the episodes, he's kind of just there in the background. He doesn't really say much. He kind of just gets bossed around either by the rebellion or by the Empire, and he just does what everyone says, which is funny because I know people complained about Jyn Erso being that way in Rogue One. That's how I feel Andor is in this show. But we'll see. No, the river awaits for you. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Again, I'm gonna rewatch season 1. I'll watch season 2. We'll see what happens. And yeah, the good old brutality. You know, wouldn't be a good God of War fight without some brutalness. And look at that. I've got Hades weapons, which they're fun, but I don't know. I didn't really use them much. Just felt too similar to the Blades of Exile, Blades of Olympus, whatever you want to call them. Blades of Chaos. So usually the fight ends with you've beaten the boss, and you gotta smack around a few weaklings with your new powers. You can see how they work. And yeah, they're all right, I guess. Kind of nice. Oh, hello, hi. I love that fake out, you know, very much. Now wait, guys, the trick is I can come back. That's half these boss fights. They just keep going. There's no end in sight. Just give us a chance, man. Give us a chance. But I love it. He ain't going down without a fight. So, yeah. Okay, God of War fans, I hear you. This is one of the best fights in the series. Absolutely. It's just fun. Got a nice style to it. It's thematically relevant, knowing that Hades is pissed that you've murdered everyone he cares about, and that you've, you know, made a mockery of him by escaping constantly from hell. Though, interesting that no mention of Thanatos in any way, because I also kind of took care of him. Also, that was great. You know, very fun fight. So, yeah. I didn't know, was I doing something wrong? You know, I don't know. I think just keep whacking away, you know. Does the hit meter keep climbing? Yep, then that's what you're supposed to be doing, you know. I dig it. So yeah, I find the environment can be a little repetitive with your backtracking, and I don't really like that similar to your main weapon. But other than that, my complaints are very far and few. I actually liked the ending to the game. Alright, come here, you. Hey, Hades, guess what? Oh, no, do it again. Come on. God dang it. Give me a second chance here. No, you. Okay, here we go. You hold still. Alright, now here we go. Hey, Hades, guess what? Guess what, Hades? Your soul is mine. You have no power here. And yeah, I just did that. I just ripped out Hades' soul from his body. How crazy is that? Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Love it. So, wait, now there's no Realm of the Dead underworld leader. Is that like a whole part of the crew, part of the ship? Like now I've got to be the one to ferry the souls to the dead? Or is Carol still doing that? No, wait, I also killed him in Chains of Olympus. Oh, shoot. I'm trying to think who actually survives all of God of War. Aphrodite survives. Oh, she's in a very good place at the end of this game. And I don't think we ever meet Demeter, do we? Or Demeter, depending on how you say it. I've always thought it was Demeter. I don't know. But in any case, yeah, that is Hades. Another wonderful fight indeed. Now, the next part was one I didn't know if I was going to include originally, but I thought, yeah, why not? It's a cool moment. Gives us a little more to talk about. And this is at the time of recording it, I thought it was the death of Gaia. But I would be mistaken here. But it's still a fun moment, you know. Look who decided to come crawling back to me after everything you did to me. I love this love-hate relationship between Gaia and Kratos. You know, do I need to action? Oh, no, you just spam attack, right? When in doubt, spam the attack button. Because in the first one, Gaia is the narrator, we just don't know it. And it's Zeus has given you the ability to save your progress. And then in the second one, it's revealed that the narrator was Gaia. And then it's Gaia has given you the ability to save your progress. And then in the third one, yeah, Gaia betrays us, so we betray Gaia. But Gaia was pissed. She will be back. Oh, don't you worry about that. But yeah, pretty fun indeed, though I do wonder exactly how I was like, oh, you're supposed to hold it and let go of it. I see. Anytime now. How this blade works. It's like if you shove it in the head of a Titan, it kills them, but this is what the third perilous fall that Gaia had happen. I don't know exactly, but yep, let's walk away like a badass. And you know what, get that hand out of here. Why don't you talk to the hand? Oh, I crack myself up sometime, indeed. But yeah, that's what you get. Don't mess with Kratos. And then up next, of course, we have Helios, boss fight. And it's not much of a boss fight, per se, but it's pretty cool, nonetheless. I remember this was the section that they all showed off in the demo of the game, and it was my first experience into God of War. There is a Chimera fight that shows up there, but did I cut it out? I think I might have, yeah. Because, it's a random Chimera, you don't need to show that. Needless to say, I kicked his nuts and bolts. But there you go, that's one catapult into the chariot of Helios. and into that Titan. Which one is that again? It's not, I don't think it's Atlas. It's not Cronos. It's not Gaia. It's not Hyperion. It's not Typhon. Is Hyperion in the game? I don't recall. I was talking about this earlier. I know Demeter isn't. And oh, here we go. Helios. How the mighty have fallen. And, oh, he's got his whole, shield and spear. Angels from Devil May Cry 4, huh? Well, we're gonna have to deal with that somehow. What's the best way to deal with shield guys? Well, I think it would be something to do with spamming attack. No. Oh, they have a cave troll. Well, you'll come in handy. I remember in the demo, this is my first experience with them putting the QuickTime events on the side of the screen. So I think I kept attacking this guy and then feeling the QuickTime event, not seeing it. Oh, it's over there on the other side of the screen, peripheral vision and all that. But now I kind of know what to expect here. And again, I actually didn't mind the change, because before the QuickTime events, they were it was one button in the center of the screen, so you had to be like, that's a triangle, that's a square. But now it's just simply, oh yeah, it's on that side of the screen, so that works for that. That is good indeed. Yeah, your eye's gone. I see you. That's one thing I love. They never really changed. Was the whole, you jump on a troll and you use him to smack everybody around, and then you take his eye. It's mine now. Just call me Pegasus, right? And it's funny because it's Pegasus Yu-Gi-Oh reference in the Millennium Eye, but it works because Pegasus is in that Hercules Disney movie, that we've always got a reference. I can't believe I made it through the whole moment of talking about Hades without making a single, hey, how's it going? Hades, Lord of the Dead. But James Woods, he's kind of a different person these days, He said, oh, we'll not get into that. But, yes, you want to save me from Atlas. Oh, right. That was Chains of Olympus we did. I forgot about that. We did save him. And that was funny playing that whole game. And, at the end thinking, I've got to save this guy so that I can rip his head off in the future. So I thought that was funny. But we got to defeat Persephone, so that was fun. I think it's funny now with new HDR, you can kind of see where the blinding light ends, but I remember before it was pure white, you couldn't see a thing until the game says, hey, move your hand around. And there's our little tribute to that American History X movie, that's a movie, alright. It's a good one, but it's a crazy one, you know it. It's a movie that's only gotten more relevant today, right? I think it's funny, I was thinking movies that would be more controversial if released today. American History X is one of them, so is But I'm a Cheerleader, I think Alien would be more controversial, because they would all call it, My Death Won't Lead You to Helios. Well, that's where you're wrong. This is my tribute to Voivod's song Ripping Headaches. If you're squeamish, now's the time to look away, because your head is now mine. And I'm going to use it as a flashlight. Yeah, how crazy is that? It's hard to rank the most brutal things Kratos did over his time, but this is definitely top 5 material. Between that and, going to town with that door on Theseus, right? Which that was very cathartic for me because, you play Hades and Theseus is all I am the champion and I will defeat you, young Zagreus, you silly little man. And, you beat him up. And then you get to this game, and then you just gotta like slam Theseus' head into a door over and over again. Yeah, I'll take it. That was pretty fun indeed. I guess that's the other thing I can say. So you get, what is it? You get weapons and you get like gadgets and goodies, right? And I felt the gadgets I didn't really use as much. The head of Helios, it seems very situational. All of them kind of do. I didn't really use the arrows that much. And I thought this was a fun segment because, it's a flying segment, and I guess this would have come out before Dead Space 2. I always attribute moments like this to Dead Space, of course, because why else wouldn't I? I thought it was cool that, like, they kind of referenced it in the, what was it? It was Dead Space, seemed like it was always referencing the live-action Star Trek movies, right? Star Trek '09 had a jump from up high down low that was in Dead Space 2, and then Star Trek Into Darkness had the like how you're going from one ship to the other ship, Star Trek and Dead Space. So it was kind of fun to have this, and I remember this was the moment right at the end of the demo. You've climbed up this bit, you dodge this guy, you grab this sword, and then you go and boom. Cut. Right there. Cut. And that's your title. God of War 3 coming soon. And I remember again, like, playing that demo thinking this is going to be the greatest game of all time. And then I never actually played it until now, 15 years later. So better late than never. And here we go. Good old Hermes, when he's not off delivering messages and giving me my bonus attack speed or extra dashes. He's here just, buggering off. And it's funny, I don't know, the way he talks, it kind of reminds me of Asterion from Baldur's Gate, which I don't actually play Baldur's Gate. My wife does, she's the D&D nerd, and I am the, hack and slash survival horror, Dark Souls nerd. So we kind of balance each other out in that way, So I'm sure Baldur's Gate 3 is a very great game. It won all the awards. Everyone loves it, and everyone's played it many times, and they keep updating it. It's just I don't really know D&D that well. Like, I can make like jokes. Sorry, pardon me. Okay, out of my way. I've got gods to slay. But, I don't really know D&D that well. So, I feel like it would be one of me, like, constantly, like, looking through the manual, like, what does Fireball do? And what's a range on this? And, not the stuff that's just, if you play D&D, it's like intrinsic knowledge, like, me, when I play a Dark Souls game, I know, okay, there's a dodge button, and you gotta dodge when the guy attacks. I don't have to think about it. But, it's, I don't know, maybe one day I'll give it a try. But it would be a very intense thing, and again, as I've said, I'm not really looking for, like, big, giant, 200 plus hour games these days, because it just gets exhausting, and I feel like every game is asking me to commit like a whole month of my life to it, and I don't really like doing that. I just like this, I play the game, and it's got a story, and I go through and I enjoy every moment, and it's fun, and it leaves a lasting impact, and sometimes it almost makes me want to play it again. Like, I honestly thought about it. I think I would almost play God of War 1, 2, and 3 again, if given the chance. Or I think about all the times I've played Dead Space, even though it's a very straight, short game with no branching paths or no side quests or big open world. Okay, well, Dead Space 3 has side quests, so that's besides the point. You see, that was the beginning of the end. That trend, it started around then, and I really didn't like it. You know, I'm just, I'm all nostalgic for old school, you know? I think I might go play Resistance Fall of Man one more time, because why not? I haven't talked too much about this fight, but yeah, it's fun because it's not a direct fight. You know, it's kind of a puzzle, kind of a chase sequence. Very much reminiscent of some like the chase sequences from an Uncharted game, and those bits are always fun. You know, I feel like for the most part, the environment is well designed. You know, you gotta react quick, and generally you're like seeing like, okay, like here, go here, and then here's where the next part is. You know, and this quick thinking on the fly and very intense. Even if there's like nothing at stake to lose if you do die, it's just a quick trip to the last checkpoint. You know, and that helps kind of alleviate the frustration. You know. But yeah, this is my trick. Well, how do we catch him? Well, I'm going to launch a catapult, and then I'm going to launch myself on the catapult. Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh? Yeah, well, where's your god now? Oh, it's you. Well, your goddess Athena's gone. You know, it also would have been cool to see Arachne, mother of all spiders, right? Spiders. Didn't really get many spider enemies. And I think I heard that it was like Athena, she like wanted to prove she was the best web weaver. And so she challenged Arachne, and Arachne won. But Athena was pissed, and so she cursed the person Arachne to having to cursed into what the first spider, right? You know, a web weaver. That's where spiders come from. It's all Athena's doing. God dang it. But yeah, I don't really know exactly how you're supposed to do this next part of the fight. Can you see there the arrow comes up and it messes with me? I don't know if the trick is just, you know, spam, you know, spin to win, perhaps. There we go, now I got it. I don't know if you need to, like, wait for him to do certain combos, and, oh, I got caught again. And if, like, that's the trick, I don't know. I just know that, you may be fast, but you ain't fast enough. And I was like, oh, blind him, right? Blinded by the light. That's a good song, people. Shut up. I like it, right? It's great. It's got a big, long solo in the middle. Very fun, very nice. Yeah, how about the new Ghost album? I thought it was good, but I think I liked Impera more. I don't know. It has a cool style to it, but I feel like we're gonna soon need to change. You know, the first 3 Ghost albums I feel like took place in the 70s, and these 3 have taken place in the 80s. So does that mean we're gonna get a 90s Ghost album next? I don't know. We'll see. Could be good, indeed. And, oh, what's the matter? Did you trip on a banana peel? And, you complain about fair. Oh, you're asking me if I have honor. Bro, do you know me? This guy really thinks he's gonna try to talk his way out of this one. I'm not listening. I'm just looking at those, like, nice shoes. No, legs, man. Legs. I'm looking at those like, what are those? Man, your Jordans are messed up, and they are mine now. And, yeah, another really satisfying kill, because this guy's just annoying. You know, he runs away, doesn't fight you. Yeah, we're gonna show him who's boss. And, hold and Oh, I was like, are you supposed to release? Yep. There we go. Nice shoes. And now your shoes are mine. And, yeah, that's the other power that gets unlocked, is it's like a quick run, kind of running attack. And again, I didn't really use it that much. Yeah, I guess the pestilence has now spread across Olympus. Oops, that one's on me, I think. Yeah, that's how I feel, is there's fun abilities that the game gives you, but I didn't really get much mileage out of them, except for the Hercules gauntlets. I used those ones quite a lot, that's for sure. So, yeah, there you go. And that's that, the boots of Hermes. Shoes taken from the messenger. And, yeah, I don't know, it's a fun power, but I didn't really get my mileage out of it. I mean, I like the addition of the stamina bar, I think it's sort of called. That's kind of nice, but, again, it wasn't really my thing, per se. Get off. Oh well, I don't know, I think it's like God of War 3, they gave you like, you usually get like 4 abilities, and then you get a weapon or 2, and I feel like God of War 2 had like a good amount. I'm trying to remember what it was in Chains of Olympus. I remember liking it. You kind of got another gauntlet type weapon in that one, didn't you? I'm just mind blanking on it. But I remember liking the alternate weapon, thinking like, yeah, I'm going to use this. And here we go, a nice arena. And who do we have? Oh, it's Hera. And Hera was pissed. Why? Because she's my drunk stepmom. You know, and just pissed because, oh yeah, her husband's been off, like, sleeping with everybody. And I guess Kratos' mother is Callisto. Like, she had a protocol, I think, a protocol that was about life. And, I guess that's the one thing Hera, I guess Hera technically should have been a bit more of a badass. And I don't think I included her in this video, because I guess she could count as a boss, but also, like, it's more of a puzzle, per se. Like, you have to go through that maze and solve the MC Escher painting, which admittedly is a pretty cool segment. I do like that. But yeah, I don't think I included her. You know, this video is long enough. And of course, what's my drunk stepmom doing? Why, she's sending out my older, you know, bully of a stepbrother. I don't know why I always thought Kratos in that shot looked very like, oh no, not you. And here we have it, good old Hercules. And I do love it though. Who plays Hercules? Why, it's the OG Hercules himself, Kevin Sorbo, everybody. Hey kids, it's Kevin Sorbo. Disappointed. Alright, we got that out of the way. I'll probably reference it again. How's Kevin Sorbo doing these days? Oh, yeah, he was in one of the worst movies I've ever seen, God's Not Dead. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Moving on. But yeah, this is fun. There's like a nice setup to him. You know, I like the way that they've like slowly introduced and brought in all of these mythological figures from all of the Greek mythology. It's fun. It's definitely playing a little more, I don't know, shall we say, fast and loose with the lore, perhaps, than say something like Hades. Hades, I think that was like half of the fun of that game, was not just that it was a fun roguelike game, and, roguelite, you gotta be specific, you know, whatever. It wasn't just a fun game. It wasn't just that everybody looked and sounded hot, and everybody had a very great ASMR voice, almost as good as mine. It was also that, like, it still played accurate to the lore. you know, like the whole thing was Persephone ate the pomegranate and couldn't travel while she was there, so they just said, I don't know, tell them some excuse about that. And then, you know, same thing with like, what is it, that Zagreus was actually Dionysus because Orpheus wrote a song about him. You know, the way they've kind of like slowly incorporated the lore, it's fun. But we don't want to talk too much about Hades because, you know, we'll be saving that for another video. You'll get a video on Hades at some point. And I'm also going to do a video on God of War. Most of the bosses, not all of them, because like half the bosses are just the soul ancients or the giants, and I don't need to, you know, show all the footage of that. And you know, nor do I need to show footage of the same Valkyrie fight 9 times. Right? I don't have the patience for that. And here we go, good old Hercules is in. And then you'll see, I don't know if you're going to judge me for the way I play the game. I play it on normal difficulty, because it's the normal way to play normal. And I found the best strategy was either battering ram or spin to win. You know, my good old L1X combo. When all else fails, you know. And see here, I'm trying out the other attacks, and yeah, it just doesn't hit the same, right? But once you get the Hercules gauntlets, I do really like those ones. I had a lot of fun with them, indeed. And like, is that gonna do anything? I don't know. See, I'm trying to make sure I get all my abilities and give them equal time. But ultimately, again, it just boils down to mash quick attack. And it's funny how Yahtzee always makes that joke, and yet I agree with it too. To an extent, you know, why do I do all these fancy strats when the good old mash quick attack seems to work perfectly fine? But this part of the fight is fun. It's, you gotta like mash him into the barbed wire, the thorns, right? And then that slowly peels his armor off, right? Because eventually he goes all for, you know, power armor is for wimps, right? Which is funny. But yeah, kind of fun to get this, like, you know, bully Hercules, you know, this sort of brutish version of him, as opposed to, you know, me being mainly used to the Disney version, of course. And this is great because I got to talk about the Disney Hercules show and a lot of memories from the show. There's a lot of moments from that show that I would consider core memories, right? The one being the episode where he frees Prometheus. And that was how I knew, like, the lore of Prometheus, which is funny because, you know, most people would think Prometheus, and I think that the episode of the Hercules show where he freed him, and then all the gods were pissed. And then I also think of, for some reason, I always think of the Gorgon episode, where, like, there's a Gorgon that has the hots for him, and so she eventually gets, like, the sunglasses to, you know, block her Gorgon powers. That's nice. You know, and every time Aphrodite shows up, it's Aphrodite, Aphrodite, Aphrodite. And then there's also the one episode where, like, he makes, like, a fake girlfriend, you know? It's basically like, spoilers for Companion, but it's basically like the movie Companion. Only, you know, she's molded by the gods, not a robot. Youch, that's tough acting than acting. Yeah, and so I think that's funny, especially him asking, like, oh, I like tall girls. Can you make her taller, a little curvy? And, okay, that's quite enough for you, young man. And Herc knew what was up, you know, my man. This is good, you know. But yeah, now it just comes down to the two of us. And yeah, he hits pretty hard. That's for sure. I also like that there was still a good emphasis on the dodging and the parrying. It made me feel like I should almost go back to Sekiro in that regard. I don't know if I did anything with that, but I tried. And I thought it would be cool. Yeah, Sekiro. It's a good game, but it's just... I feel like I never got good at it. I feel like I just fluked my way through the whole game. And everyone says, oh, you've got to play Sekiro's way. You've got to play it to get good at it. I'm like, I don't know if I did that or not. I feel like I fluked it a bit. But what are you going to do? What can you do? This guy is still taking a beating. Are you dead yet? Where's that satyr filled? Back to training. Now that I think about it, was there an Achilles in God of War? There was a Perseus, and he was voiced by a guy from Jason and the Argonauts. That's cool. And there was Theseus, and there was Prometheus. I don't think we had an Achilles, per se. Though, he's in Hades. He's dead, but he's a ultimate warrior of knowledge, and that's fun. And he's gay. Awesome. I like the 2004 movie with Brad Pitt. It's a very great movie, but yeah, they straight washed Achilles. That's unfortunate. And well, these toys look kind of fun. I want to turn step bro. Excuse me, I want to drive. And oh no, I done goofed. Can we get another chance, please? And it's kind of fun. It's got this whole the weapon swapping thing. Reminds me of you and Zeus battling over who has control over the sword at the end of God of War 2. But there we go. That's how it's done. Now these are mine. Yeah, it's hard to rank favorite alternate weapons in God of War series. But I would say how do you say it? The Cetus? Castus? These gauntlets, they're good. I like them a lot. Fisticuffs. Big fist, big smash. It's the kind of stuff that makes me want to do a Kratos build in Elden Ring. That would be fun. But I can't do another playthrough of Elden Ring because we've got Elden Ring Fortnite Edition coming up, which we'll see how that goes. I kind of want to just play it solo because I'm not super into very focused multiplayer. I like Souls multiplayer because it's very casual, it's just, hey, I throw my name out there for anybody to help out on a boss fight. I jump in, I've got my guy, I say, let's go kill the boss, and we kill the boss, and you can kind of work out the strategy together. I like this whole, incentivized cooperation that comes from that. I'm not really a fan of okay, let's open a party chat, let's all talk, let's make sure we got all mics, we gotta do call-outs. That's why I stopped playing Siege. I used to play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege back in the day, but I say back in the day, I think I stopped playing it in 2020, it's not my thing anymore. Now it's evolved so much I can't even keep track of what's going on anymore in that game, and everything is so different. I don't like it. But yeah, so if Night Rain is going to be a lot more of a co-op focused one, I could just see that being let's get party chat going, let's get comms open and pick where we're going, and I don't know, I might not always be in the mood for that. We'll see. But yeah, this next bit's going to be quite the face melting guitar, if you know what I mean. Let's just say he's going to be leaving this fight very disappointed. And, well, God's not dead, you say. Well, maybe God's not dead, but you'll be after I'm done with your face. And, yeah, I turned him into a death scene from Callisto Protocol. indeed. And yeah, again, wow, what another brutal kill. That is the one thing I can say about God of War 3. This is where they really figured out what is the audience here for. Well, you're here to meet a bunch of cool figures from Greek mythology and to unalive them in the most brutal way possible. And that's what that is all about, indeed. What a good time, indeed. And it just gives you one more chance to grab these new game plus items. I never saw what they were for, but it lets you look one more time and be like, I want to look at his face. And the game actually does let you look at his face. Wait, where is it? Yep, I did that. That's me. I did that. Oops. So up next we have Cronos, of course, the big spectacle fight that is Cronos indeed, which I think this is a very fun kind of way to wrap it all up, shall we say. Because Cronos, of course, was originally the Titan that was carrying that big fortress that hid Pandora's box on it back in God of War 1. So I think it's pretty cool that now, all this time later, he's been condemned to the pits of Tartarus for us to have to deal with. Murderer of Gaia. What are you talking about? That's not me, or I mean, that's going to be me eventually. You got it all wrong, man. But he doesn't know that, I guess. So, oh well. But yeah, I do think it was really fun, the setup for him. Originally, the big fortress, the big temple, and that was such a cool temple. It was so well designed, and it just felt so intricately layered. You know, like I really got the vibe that like everything was laid out properly, that there was no like cheating, you know, like unloading levels or loading them in. But Cronos was pissed. And yeah, what a great sense of scale in this fight. You know, I'm barely bigger than the guy's fingernail, right? I feel like at this point I'm just basically popping pimples on this guy, which, hey, you know, for some people that's a very, very ASMR type thing, but not for me. This is where I think it took me a second to realize, oh, I gotta, you know, give him the old Mumford Brothers band, what's it called? You know, wait a minute, I gotta make sure he's blinded by light. I'll figure it out eventually. The game like has to remind me, hey, don't forget to do that. Oh, I didn't realize he actually still has the fortress on the back of him. He's just usually shown from the front. I didn't realize that. I guess they didn't go through the trouble of taking it all off of him, because why would you? But yeah. Now what do we got? Well, there's a lot of fighting like random little enemies around here and there, you know, which is not exactly the strongest part of it all. That's the thing. This is definitely a spectacle fight. And I mean, how would you make this fight work like normally, like a straight up 1v1, right? Like, you know, I should just get like swatted away like a little fly. But oh well, it allows me to, you know, revive my old Shadow of the Colossus memories. So, and there we go. Popping pimples, popping sores. It's skincare, you know, and me turning that into an open wound. Skincare. And, but yeah, so this is not, I would say, like the greatest fight in the series, but definitely really the fun, entertaining one, you know. Though I feel like they kind of took the mentality of this. Oh, I see. I gotta get the fingernail, right? Yeah, I would say they took the mentality of this fight a little too far in a few places. They may have gone a little too far in a few places. because I felt like a lot of the fights in the new God of War, God of War as we're calling it, right, felt a little too scripted and set piece related. Like it was like the Baldur fight. I actually wasn't the biggest fan of that fight because it didn't feel like a big challenge. It just felt like, here, mash the attack button and then use one weapon when he's one color and one weapon when he's another, and didn't really like that. But I did get to see the world serpent take down the corpse of a giant. He is a giant, yeah. A giant. The big giant. Ooh, that's nasty. Bro, just like shake your arm. Why are you just holding it still? Really is a Shadow of the Colossus fight, you know? I think they, all those Colossi could have tried a little bit harder to shake Wanderer off. But it is what it is. I know what I gotta do. Blinded by the light. Yeah. Man, I miss that big temple from God of War 1. I don't know, it was something about it. And like, you get those bits where you're like climbing the temple and like you can see all the way down, and then Cronos is chained to it. Like, I just think that's cool. What can I say? I guess the one thing I can say is I love the new level of force you use behind the grunt enemies in this game, because, you know, in the first ones it was like you had to you could grab them and rip them apart, and now you like grab them and you know, go, oh, excuse me, pardon me, and you just shove them all through a bunch of enemies, or just, you know, yeet them into oblivion, right? Any game where I could go yeet is fun. And these like statue guys are pretty cool, though I do find the good old fisticuffs gauntlets makes quick work of them, which is nice. I feel like the Gorgons and the Minotaurs, though, kind of got shafted a little bit. You know, there were some Minotaur fights. I mainly remember that fight in the labyrinth, or the first time where you're trying to stop them from destroying the chain, the great chain of being. Found that like really annoying. And then there's only like a couple Gorgon fights, and they felt pretty nerfed. I remember Gorgons showing up in the earlier games, and it was a very, you know, oh shit moment, because they could turn you to stone, and you could get, you know, got instantly. Whereas in the other ones, it felt like they don't use that power often. You can parry it, and yeah, you found me. And then, you know, if you beheaded one, it froze all of them around. So, I don't know, just didn't seem as intense. I remember like some of the combat moments in God of War 2 specifically felt like, okay, this is a tough challenge. This ain't gonna be easy for me to make it out. Like there was that bit where you're like spinning the platform down before the spikes come down on you. And then there was the part where you have to like push that statue to like get through the lava area, where you're like trying to rebirth that phoenix. There was the whole like trying to reach the loom chamber fight where you're like stuck in those small areas. Just a lot of bits like that. I didn't really feel like, apart from the two parts with the labyrinth, right, where you're actually in the labyrinth and it's like rotating, and the part where you're fighting them on top of the box, and there's the chain that you're trying to stop them from breaking. Those are only the bits where I really felt that vibe. I do like how, you know, you kept the Icarus wings, because that's not something you ever really lost, right? Poor old Icarus. We introduced him to the reality that is the Iron Maiden song, you know. So it's definitely a tech demo-y section, shall we say. And here I am using the Hades claws to try to get my mileage out of them. I went through hell and back to get them. Literally. Yeah, so kind of fun in that regard. And this is where I was like, okay, let's see how these powers work. I know there's something like you upgrade it and you can like summon more spirits. That's the other thing I really liked was the upgrades in all of the games, because I don't really like games so much where you're like forced to really like, pick an upgrade path at the start and then stick with it and can't deviate from that path, because like I haven't played the game before. I don't know what the ideal optimal path is. I don't want to have to look it up, but I also don't want to screw myself over by not picking the optimal path. And so it was nice, at least in my opinion, I found I did a good job of finding all the hidden chests. And it seemed in pretty much all of the Greek God of War games, I had like just enough skill points to max out almost everything except for like the final upgrade level of a single power. And so that was nice, because then it it let me know, okay, well, upgrade the Blades of Exile first, upgrade the Gauntlets, or the Case and Cetus, whatever they are, second, and go from there. Whereas other games, they're a lot more stingy with how much you get, like not to the same extent I think as some of the older Dark Souls games like Demon's Souls, where you get one singular final upgrade material per run, or it's like super hard to figure it out. And oh no, he's eating us. And yeah, that's nasty. But I guess that was the whole thing. Wasn't out of my way. Well, wasn't the whole thing that like Cronos was supposed to eat baby Zeus, but that who was it? The Gaia raised him instead. I remember that was from God of War 2, I think, perhaps. I don't know, but what I do know is that this is what happens when you eat too much hot sauce, Remember when I did that Hot Ones video? That was totally not worth it. Nobody watched it, and I hurt my insides for nothing. But, look man, I heard you got a kidney stone. I got it for you. You're welcome. The Omphalos stone. And I think this is what we needed for Hephaestus. Oh yeah, good old Hephaestus, right? Aphrodite. Ow, Kratos. Very much, it's you energy. And there we go, we broke that, and we did that. That was nasty, alright. It is the moments like this that really make you appreciate what a technical marvel the PS3 was, and how much they were able to achieve with it. And playing some old PS3 games, you're like, wow, maybe the graphics aren't like the greatest looking ever, but these were quite nice indeed. They had a good art style to it. I kind of ran around here for a second thinking, what do I do? Do I pick his nose? Do I floss his teeth? Do I give him a facelift? No? Game? Okay, now you can help me out, game. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. Oh, forehead? Oh, we're gonna take a page from Tool. I think we're gonna be prying open his third eye. There we go. Thank you, game. I guess I need to wait for him to do his little spiel. And yeah, the good old Sword of the Gods, Sword of Olympus, whatever it is. I don't know. And yeah, that's another Titan down. I've actually not watched Attack on Titan. I started watching it and I did not dig it. I found it strangely slowly paced. You know, it seemed like it took everything to get going, but I do realize it is an anime and that's kind of part of their style, you know. A character has a revelation and spends the whole episode thinking about it, and then they figure out what they need to do at the end of the episode. But I think I've said it before, I just can't TV. You know, I can't handle the weight. I need it to be now. And hey, Hephaestus, how's it going? I do think it's funny that Hephaestus is voiced by, what is it? Rip Torn, who voiced Zeus in the Hercules movie. That's pretty funny, you know. Life is a bowl of chariots. A weapon can't be rushed, he says as he goes and he makes it, I think about 30 seconds tops, perhaps, you know. And he says it'll be worth the wait, but I think I use this thing to do like 2 puzzles and that's it. I don't know. That's kind of the issue I have with lots of these types of games. Is same with Devil May Cry. They give you all these fun options and ideas and weapons and abilities, and I usually resort to the main weapon, upgrading the quick attack and upgrading the healing. But there we go. Can't be rushed, he said, as he made it in a few seconds. But you see, they were all of them deceived. Here is the retribution you seek. I love just the looped animation of him, like, you know, like maniacally watching, with his fingers all like moving back and forth. I don't know why. Like that sort of grimace on his face. I've always liked the animations. You know, I always think they look neat. You know, the way they've got to loop it until you complete the quick time event. I've never seen what actually happens if you fail. Do you just die? I don't know. But all I know is electricity. And that's why you gotta watch your tools, man. Like, you're like a craftsman, an inventor, and that little blade thing did not seem to be very OSHA approved, or whatever the cool kids are saying these days. Yeah. But now we're off on the quest to rescue Pandora. Indeed. That'll be good. Yeah, the whole Pandora thing, it's not like it's out of nowhere. It is there. It does feel like a little bit of a retcon. I guess that is a point I could say against God of War 3. In that, you know, we opened the box and it was the power to kill a god. But you see, if you get Pandora to open the box, it opens the secret box inside the box, and that lets out hope, and hope gives the power to kill a god. Okay, I guess I'll accept it. I'm pretty sure that was the whole thing with the Pandora's box myth. As she opened the box, let out all the evils into the world, and all that remained was hope. And that's all we've got. And of course, it wouldn't be a God of War boss if they didn't throw a bunch of weakling enemies for you to test your abilities. Yeah, then there's kind of some weird thing about, oh, the gods became a bunch of assholes because I opened the box. Okay, I guess it kind of explains it. I thought it was just simply because they were worried I was going a little too power crazy, which you'd think would be fine because, you know, I'm the god of war. It's in the name, it's what I do. You know, war's got a war. So I just chalked it up to that, you know, that they were all jelly of my awesomeness abilities and my cool chair that I had. All Athena got was some statues. I got a chair. Now that I think about it, was Hephaestus in Hades? I'm mind blanking on that right now. I don't know. Maybe he's in Hades 2. I haven't really played Hades 2 that much because it still says it's in early access. And, if it is, I want to wait until it's like the full-on, like, official release, the real thing, shall we say. So we'll see how that goes. I played a little bit of it, though, at a friend's place, and I like the style. You play as Meloni, and Cronos is the main bad guy. That's cool. And Nemesis is in it. Selene's in it. Hecate's in it. And, once again, everybody looks and sounds hot. This is a very important element to a Hades game, and apparently Supergiant games in general, though I haven't played any of them. I know we have, the Bastion. I haven't played that one. But I like their style, right? And, eye candy and ear candy never hurts a bit. We'll get to that for sure. Oh yeah, I'm fighting a giant scorpion monster. I guess this counts as a boss because there's like one of him, and I guess it's a fun fight, Okay, out of my way, I need to finish him. Finish him. Excuse me. Yeah. So he's a scorpion. What can I say? There's not really much about him. It's an alright fight, I guess. It's got some fun bits, but yeah, it does feel a little weak when so many of the main big fights are against like the gods. Seems to me like they'll throw in like a tough enemy as a kind of boss, and then like a chimera, and then you'll fight them later, and then you'll have more power and ability and be able to take them on more easily, which is also kind of a Dark Souls thing. Like, let's just take a regular enemy from the end game and put him in as a boss early. Makes sense, the scale works, and then you get to him later and it shows how far you've come. Very basic ideas. But this one's kind of unique because he's like a big super one, and this is the only time where we fight him. So, yeah, I'm not really sure exactly how that works, but I don't know, it was fun to fight. I like the very shiny blue that the labyrinth has, that indicator that you've got to be using the Hephaestus gauntlets, whatever, the Hercules fisticuffs, as I'm calling them from now on. I was asking myself where Daedalus was, and then I remembered, oh right, Daedalus is good old Alex DeLarge from Clockwork Orange, Malcolm McDowell, or the Shadow Man if you're into the whole zombies thing. Vidi well, my little brothers, vidi well. So that's cool. I like that. Yeah, they really killed it with the voice cast on this too. Is it T.C. Carson is old Kratos, and then he's Christopher Judge in next one, the new Kratos in that one, I think. Yeah. So that's good. Kratos is great. It's just angriest man since Doom guy, and we like that. All right, you're mine now. Oh yeah, here we go. The great chain of being. See, here we have another one of these flying segments. I feel like they realized the flying segment was so good. Nope. Oh, there was a quick time event. I done goofed. Can we get a do-over, please? They realized the flying bit was so cool they had to put it in as much as possible. And again, that is the one thing I find weak about the level design, is that it's a lot of back and forth. And it's obviously it's not Metroidvania in any way. Oh, and once again, can I try that again, please? There we go. And of course, the only thing that can defeat the scorpion is itself. But it's just kind of like, in the other ones, it was always like, I felt like you were moving somewhere new, right? Or, like you had the whole bit where you're like unlocking the different rings at the center of the temple in God of War 1. And in 2, you're always moving on to new sections of the island of creation, or maybe you have a room, you go down a very, very long path somewhere else to a whole new area, and then you come back to that, and sort of, that leaves off where you were. But here it's just, there's like 3 areas, and then you just go back and forth between the 3 of them, and didn't really dig it as much in that regard. I don't know. This level design was a little weak in that element. I thought it was a little more needing of a forward progression, shall we say. But yeah, it's really tough for me to decide whether I like 2 or 3 better, because I really have no notes for 2, apart from a couple of frustrating combat moments. You get that whole time freeze mechanic with it's not Atropos, is it? Atropos. Oh, is it Atropos? Because that's the planet you're in Returnal. This is the other thing I'm realizing. I didn't even think about how in Returnal it's all Greek mythology, right? There's Selene and Helios, and then Atropos is the planet, and then there's all the bosses are different gods like Ixion, Phrake, Hyperion, Ophium, right? And there's all these different things I didn't even think about how they all represented. I mean, which I guess is very, basic storytelling 101. Like, oh, we need someone to represent, like, a woman who's in a situation she doesn't want to be. We'll call her Persephone. Oh, we need a dark evil guy that rules over an underworld. We'll call him Hades, right? Very, it's like dumb me not realizing that the Merovingian in the Matrix is the devil, right? Oh, of course he is. It's just one of those things you don't think about, right? I mean, I certainly didn't know, like, Persephone, the Greek mythological figure, who that was when I watched The Matrix. I just thought that was the name of a really hot Monica Bellucci character. I thought it was weird why she was all obsessed with making Neo kiss her, but I mean, I guess if you had the chance to kiss Keanu Reeves, why wouldn't you? That's pretty great. Oh yeah, also we're getting down to the final fight here, if you didn't notice. But it's going to be a long one. You better get comfortable, alright, for this one, indeed. Because we have freed Pandora, and we now have to get her to open the box. What's in the box? Well, it's not Gwyneth Paltrow's head. And it's not pain. No, it's hope. So, yeah, it's an interesting concept. I do feel that, like, I don't know, how do I best describe it? It's like, it's not as blatant as Mass Effect 3 or Dead Space 3, where it was like, the story was going one way and then they didn't really know what to do, so they kind of just like, and then this happened, then that happened. Doesn't feel as blatant as those, but I feel there is some element of that here. They didn't really know what they were going for, so they were just like, let's come up with something. And the something they came up with gives us an excuse to beat up a bunch of gods, so that's great. And so I'm okay with it, I'm not really thinking about the how or why about Pandora and the box and hope. I'm just thinking, do I get to fight my dad? Yes, you do. This is the Daddy Issues 101 in game for sure. And this is the tough part, is they have to try to top the fight from God of War 2, because Zeus was the big bad at the end of that one. And again, depending on how you view it, that might be like a bit of a kind of cop-out ending. You have a big fight, you fight him, and you stab him, and nothing happens. Put her down. Very poor choice of words. It really was. And, that's a Hitchcock zoom. We'll count it. Hitchcock zoom. And this was actually one of the first bits I saw from God of War 3. It goes all classic Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat 2D style. and I love it. It's so much fun. I didn't know how well this would translate, but it translates very well, and I really like it. I was actually very worried going into this fight, because I think I remember one time this one I was just like in res, and somebody else, a couple of people were hanging out, and they were playing this game, and I remember watching this fight not knowing, like, oh, is this God of War 3? Like, is this a boss fight? Is this an endgame fight? And it just seemed like the guys that were playing, they were getting their asses kicked absolutely by this fight. So that worried me. I was like, uh-oh, is this going to be a tough fight? And it was tough, but I actually got it for the most part. Like, I think I died like once or twice during the final stretch when you're fighting in Gaia. And again, I'm playing on normal difficulty. I'm not playing this game for like the crazy difficult challenge. You know, that's somebody else can handle that. I ain't in it for that. I'm in it to play, have a decent challenge, feel a bit accomplished, and also have a good story. And that fight gives all of these. Oh, no, get over here, you. There we go. And here we go. Angriest video game protagonist since Doom guy. Just really lay it into him. Though, I do think it was funny. Me thinking like, oh, you know, if this ends with a neck snap, I swear. It doesn't. But the Baldur fight does. You see, that's why I much prefer this type of an endgame fight to Baldur. Again, I don't know. Maybe I was over-leveled. We'll talk a bit more about... I don't want to rag on God of War too much right now, right? We're praising God of War 3. But it's just like, I want a final boss, for the most part, to feel like, oh, you know, I have to use all my tactics tried and true to overcome my greatest challenge. And there are reasons for not having that. I think in some cases Dark Souls has done that, you know. Most people wouldn't say Nashandra or Gwyn are the most difficult fights in the series. You know, because those are meant to be weaker fights. It's thematically pertinent. But then you've got some fights that are endgame fights, like the Soul of Cinder, who he's supposed to be tough. He's an amalgamation of all of the previous Lords of Cinder, including Gwyn and including the player character from Dark Souls 1. So that makes sense. Or, you know, Elden Ring, you're fighting a literal god at the end, so Radagon and the Elden Beast should be a tough fight. So should Promised Consort Radon. And that's why Zeus here, he should be a tough fight. But Baldur, I never really got the vibe that, like, Baldur was supposed to be an easy endgame fight. You know, I got the impression in the first fight that he was meant to be crazy difficult because you're like, oh, he's strong. And then in the second fight, it just felt like I was supposed to feel like, how am I going to beat this guy, man? This guy doesn't give up. What do I do? But then in the third fight, it was like, okay, he's nerfed. I can hurt him now. But I also didn't get the vibe that it was like, aha, now I will win, you know. Not like I found his kryptonite and that's it. I don't know. Ruminate on that for a bit. But, yep, that's it. We chose violence, right? But, I guess that's, what she wanted, you know? She wanted to do the sacrifice, so that's good. I don't know. I guess from a certain point of view, perhaps. Maybe not. Oh well, what can you do, right? And then, yeah, she opens the box and the box is empty, except not really, like, gives the power to you. I'm not sure exactly how it all works. You know, I don't question it. I just roll with it. You know, it's a great game, and that's what matters most. But Zeus was pissed, and so was Kratos. It's not over yet. We got a lot more to go. That was just phase one. I do like this kind of little respite. You know, they broke the fight up in chunks, and yet it also doesn't feel overlong. I don't know if I really got that impression. The fights were out there welcome. The box is empty. Oh, well, that's wonderful. I guess that's nice. Now we move on to the next phase of the fight. And so, at first I thought, oh, this is going to be like a very traditional style, just straight up, you know, the 3D style fight, not the 2D style fight. Such chaos. Yeah, like chaos, primordial chaos, related to Nyx, Zagreus' kind of half-stepmom thing. I don't know. Yeah, I was like, oh right, I've got that shield ability, right? That was definitely an ability I forgot to use. You know, you can never get past the good old Poseidon's lightning attack from the first one. That was definitely one of my favorites. You always need a good AoE. Oh yeah, like there was the Spartan sword and shield in Ghost of Sparta. That was okay. I didn't really like that one that much. And here I was worried because I was kind of getting my butt kicked, if you can see. I was like, okay, well, you know, you can't win every fight right away the first time. But maybe we'll go turbo mode at the very least. And of course, the one time I use my retirement rage, what happens? But would you look at that? Gaia ain't gone. She is Gaia. But Gaia was pissed. I guess, yeah, she's mad at all of us. And, yeah, how? I don't know. Don't ask questions. So, yeah, now once again we've all betrayed each other, and we're all mad at each other. Hooray, more war of God. More dog of war. And, yeah, I guess this does kind of mess with things a bit, because I know the whole idea with Pandora's box being opened was that, like, oh, yeah, this means that the gods all became evil, because I released that into the world, and kind of gets rid of the whole theme of, like, you know, oh, every son has to kill their father, the patricide type stuff from the previous God of War 2, the second one, the sequel. And I guess it is kind of a cop-out, but I don't know. Do you think it's cool that we ended up here for the final fight, though? I always thought it was odd, playing the intro, that we just sort of wound up here in Gaia's heart at the beginning. And now it's like, you see, we were back here, but now we've got the abilities to properly deal with it. Because we got the gauntlets and we can smash up them crystals. And, yeah, once again, the beast's weakness is from the inside. I do think it's cool that we get to use all the different abilities here. And then this next part of the fight, again, a fun way to get your health back, as I didn't really figure out what was going on, but it's like Zeus starts making copies of himself, and you have to stop him from attacking Gaia because he gets health back from that. So there's kind of a balance between, like, defeating his clones and defeating the original. And so, yeah, here we go. The real final fight. And of course I used my retirement rage for nothing. I was saving that for later. I was eating those beans. God dang it. Yeah, so I don't really know if I, like, figured out the trick to this fight, but it seemed to me that, like, the trick was to, like, make sure he never got more than 2 or 3 copies if possible, and then just go full ham on him. And then if he was ever going going to like try to do his whole charge just to make sure he got right over there and stopped him from doing it. And again, gauntlets for the win. You see this one, I don't know if you can stop him on that one, but that's kind of your hint that, much in the same way that I get health from Gaia, he gets health as well. Choose wisely. Bro, I think I've already made the choice as to what's going on here, you know, just saying. Yeah, again, this is a fun fight because it really felt like, okay, I need to go like full Ultra Instinct for this. Again, it was tricky in that you want to fight close to Gaia to get your health back, but also, you know, Zeus, he's trying to fight further away to do a charge, so it's like he's pulling you away from it. So it's a nice balance in there. But again, I love these gauntlets so much. That's my main. Didn't really get much mileage out of the other ones, but oh well, that's just how it is. I didn't show the labyrinth part, because again, I kind of felt that these boss fights were long enough as it is already. We didn't really need more content. And yeah, like I said, I didn't, I didn't do the Hera, quote-unquote, fight with the MC Escher painting. But that was still a fun moment for sure. There's a lot of great moments besides the boss fights in these games, and I like them for that. But yeah, God of War 4, we'll talk about that, but I'm gonna hit you with a hot take. I didn't really like it that much, and I enjoyed the other 3 God of War games more. And I know that it's a different style of game, and I shouldn't be directly comparing it, but I also do need to compare it, you know. And there we go, I can use my retirement rage. Which one are you? Oh, there you are again. Sorry, this color scheme makes it hard to decide. And did I get mileage out of my retirement rage? I don't know if I did or not. But I got a 48 hit combo. That's probably small fry to what most people can do. But I ain't all about that style. Ha, yes. I got you with the circle there. Very nice. And I didn't know, was that like, did I did it? Did I win? Or is this like, you gotta do multiple ones? I don't know, but I ain't taking my chances on this. Why won't you die? And again, kind of a little bit more of that whole back and forth. The sword is mine. No, tag. The sword is mine now. You know, when your fight with your dad gets a little out of hand, am I right? And yeah, don't get me with the arrows. The arrows always messes with me a bit, that's for sure. Kind of funny that I'm about to defeat the final boss, and yet also we've still got 20 minutes left in this video. There we go. Yeah. And in doing so, we stab both Zeus and Gaia. Oh yeah. And the world is now forever condemned due to my quest for vengeance. Except it isn't, because again, I think we went through a portal and went into Norse mythology realm. I don't know, I'm gonna see if that's answered more in Ragnarok, whenever I do get around to playing it. But again, I'm not sure when that will be, because it's a full price game right now, and if I'm buying any full price games, it's gonna be Elden Ring Fortnite Edition, and then after that it will be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 Remake. I know everyone is salty about there not being the career mode from 4, but as long as they've got the career mode from 3, I'm okay with that, because that's really what I'm playing it for. So, sorry to all you Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 fans, but for me, 3 was where it was at, because Ace of Spades and Amoeba and Not the Same and Wish, Alien Ant Farm, yeah, and now Gila Monster is gonna be in it. Oh Oh yeah, now we're talking alright. But the soul of Zeus refused to die. And so, I'm not exactly sure what this whole segment is meant to be. It's kind of more like the story bit to it, because, you know, the actual main boss fight is over. This is just kind of a victory lap. And there you go, he drains all of my power. And I guess we're supposed to fear the end. And what's the best way to fight fear is with hope. But to me, this is just anime stuff, right? It's always like an anime, like the main character's like fighting the big bad, and then like he wins and the character dies, and they go to some kind of purgatory, and they have to have some sort of spiritual revelation about themselves, and the true power was inside all along. That leads to them, like, you know, coming back to reality, and then all of a sudden they're like, aha, you thought you had defeated me, but now I actually have won once more again. Finally, for the last time, I think. You know, something like that. I guess, I don't know. But there's a lot of running around in the dark here, for sure. But this sequence only lasts a few minutes, so I wouldn't say it's like a time-wasting one. You know, there's a few of the walking simulator segments that pop up here and there in games these days that I do feel are wasting my time. And I'm gonna rag on again, but Last of Us Part 2. Why did I have to go visit that aquarium 3 different times? I don't like it. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with the show. As of this moment, I've watched 5 episodes of the show, and this ain't it, man. This ain't it. This is what happens, and happened with season 1, is they have all the opportunities to fix a few pacing issues from the game, and they end up changing a few things and making many things worse. People are sort of catching on to this, and it's like the show couldn't trust me as the audience to, like, understand it. Like, they've been throwing out so many bones to the audience, so many cues and hints, right? Like, okay, I can't trust you to understand the situation, so we're just gonna over-explain everything and just tell it as it is, and I don't know, man. I don't like that, but that's the weird thing, is like, the show feels like it needs to over-explain things because it thinks people won't get it, and the game didn't do the over-explaining it, and people still didn't get it. So, I guess what is the right answer? I don't know. But I guess these video game equivalents to Oscar bait are just not for me, unfortunately. I just don't like the direction that big AAA story games are working towards. It's just, it's not it, you know? And, you know, we'll see. I know the other one I gotta play still is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I played Fallen Order, and that game was surprisingly pretty fun. But I've heard Survivor's got kind of a weak story, so I don't know about that. We'll see. I just want to know, though, can I hold the lightsaber backwards like the apprentice from Force Unleashed? I would like that a lot. Oh yeah, this is the walking simulator segment still going on. Again, it's like me, like, finding the light inside, I think. And, well, put myself to sleep. This is good. Hopefully I put you guys to sleep. I mean, that's why you're here, right? To be bored out of my mind by my rants with whatever I think is pertinent, because these videos don't give me as much to rant about as Dark Souls. Oh, my bad, sorry, I left you behind. And you know, the game doesn't shy away, though, from telling you, like, Kratos is a bad guy, like, it's something you should realize while playing, like, yeah, he inadvertently but still did murder his family. His whole thing was not to be forgiven for it, but just to forget it ever happened. And of course, the gods haven't granted him that. And then it's just to murder all the other gods and anyone who gets in his way, right? But we love good old revenge type stuff, That's the thing, I guess, is the opposite, is everyone asks, oh, well, could we imagine if Kratos got to the end and forgave Zeus, right? Would it make sense? I'm like, well, no, but it's a different style, I should think, You almost feel like, I think that the best point of the characters should be just give up and go home, and I like how it's the big Athena sword temple from God of War 1, and yeah, what can we say? Kratos has a thing for jumping off ledges, right? This is where it all began, and this is where it all ends. It is funny how your whole thing is to take a leap of faith and jump off the edge of that realm between realms, in God of War. I'll get to it, man, but man, did God of War have the worst fast travel system ever implemented into a game. I'd rather take Death Stranding's fast travel. And that was probably just a cop-out for people that were going to complain about it, right? I never even bothered doing it. And, yeah, here's all the souls that I've amassed over the years. Though I'm surprised Boat Captain didn't make an appearance here. I thought it was hilarious that he became a running joke. He appears as a vanquished soul in God of War 2. We see him fall into hell at the end of God of War 1. There's a note from him in God of War 3. And I think there's also a reference to him in God of War. And there we go. She will show us the way. She knows the way of killing a god. Oh yeah, indeed. Man, this segment really does go on for a while now that I think about it. But, I don't know, it's kind of atmospheric, it's interesting. I guess for the purposes of this video, maybe it wasn't the most, interesting thing to include. It's all just, story, the inner battle. Makes me think of that one, the Evangelion episode of Code Geass, as I call it, where he's there with the king and he defeats him, and there's the big spiral, and he has his code and he has his Geass, and therefore together he has Code Geass. You see that? That was a good anime, that show, because something happened every episode. Kept it interesting. I don't know. Feel like I'm just burnt out on watching mediocre stuff. And, again, I gotta rewatch Season 1 of Andor. We'll see if Season 2 makes up for it, but, I'm not in love with it as much as everybody else is. I don't know. Just add that to my ever-growing list of unpopular opinions, shall we say. But yeah, the fear is replaced by hope. The power to kill a god is the hope against the fear. So what we're saying is that's the power of love. And I do like this kind of art style there. That's pretty cool. The graphical upgrade was totally great. And it all boils down to Star Wars, Rebellions are built on hope. And yeah, that allows us to come back to life somehow, I don't know. And now it goes all first-person mode, which is great, We did the first-person POV of the victim. And you see TikTok, this is how you use POV. Okay, I'm gonna title this video for you, okay? It's called POV. You're fighting your dad to the death. And that's just such a cool change of pace. I don't really know if there's exactly much of a challenge to this segment, If there is, I didn't notice it, but to me, this just feels like a victory lap of sorts, And it's a great victory lap, Like running the bases after you hit a home run. And I do not need these blades no more. Nah, I'm going with the good old fisticuffs. This is for making me climb out of hell 3 times. And here we go, the infamous "you die now" section. And you spam circle, and you punch, and you keep punching, and you keep doing this over and over again, and you don't stop ever. And what's great about this next part coming up is that, as many have pointed out, but the segment just continues to go on forever until you stop tapping circle. Just the screen gets progressively more and more bloody until you literally can't see anything else. And I think what I did was I just I did actually sit there tapping it for like several minutes because I felt like it, but we don't need to see that in this video. You know, you can go watch the ASMR punching Zeus's face into a pretty little pulp 10-hour edition. You can go watch that. I'm sure somebody has made that video, but I'm not gonna make that video. We're gonna keep it nice and simple here. Nice and simple. And yeah, that's that. Zeus is defeated and the gods are all dead. Except for Aphrodite, who again we did not include in the video because it seems like everybody else is afraid to post that scene on the interwebs. And while I may be a smaller channel, I don't want to take my chances with it. And there we go. Now the overworld just looks exactly like Tartarus. We have hell on earth, as Iron Maiden predicted. And yeah, now we got this whole ending with Athena, and I don't recall how much of it I actually put in the video. It's not the greatest, you know. It seems like it just is like a big exposition dump at the end. Like they were trying to pull a Metal Gear Solid where like you fight the final boss and then 2 hours later, you know, the game actually ends, right? I don't know. Isn't it? Yeah, it's a 90-minute cutscene at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, right? That was always so weird to me. It never felt that long. It felt long, but like, I think about, you know, pulling an all-nighter and doing like all of Acts 3, 4, 5 of Metal Gear Solid 4 in a single night. And like, how long would that have taken? How late would I have stayed up? I don't know, man. That's crazy. But, yeah, this is where Athena kind of retroactively explains away the plot of the games, and it's a little weak, I'll give it that. It's not like Mass Effect 3 levels bad, though. Like, oh, and then there was the Catalyst, and it was the Star Child, and the Reapers were created to cleanse the galaxy, but not really, and pick your favorite flavor of ice cream. But yeah, now that I think about it, it does kind of give that vibe, but yet it doesn't really seem like it negates the story, right? I don't know. We'll see. It feels like a bit of a cop-out, but again, it doesn't really affect the experience, you know? Yeah, all the gods were consumed by evil and fear, so we need to unleash hope into the world, and that's why Kratos decides the final thing is to, you know, commit to die, shall we say, right? Commit good old Sudoku. You know, it was kind of fun, though. I do kind of miss that style of the first God of War, where it was just like, oh yeah, we're kind of not fans of Ares. Hey, we'll help you out if you can go fight him. You know, this infighting between the gods. But it's still not as fun as the dynamic in Hades, which is just, hey man, we want to have a party with you, Zag. Wouldn't it be so great if you came and hang out with us? What if we just like decide to mess with Hades for a bit? I think that'd be fun. We're just gonna troll him. Here, have some divine blessing, you know. I do kind of miss that. But, yeah, we're getting close to the end. I've got 3 minutes left on the clock, according to my calculations. So, let's wrap this up. God of War 1. Great game. Fantastic. Not that clunky. Visually holds up well. That was the makings of a masterpiece in that one. Really love it. Indeed. Short, quick, to the point. Excellent. God of War 2. It's like we took that and made it bigger and better in every way and didn't compromise anything. Great. Awesome. Fun new mechanics. Time travel. Much more characters from Greek mythology in it. Definitely more of that badassery vibe. Yeah, love it. And then God of War 3, very similar, but just better graphics and more crazy boss fights. Just not the biggest fan of the story or the level design. And you see what we're going to do. We are not going to defeat Athena. We are going to defeat ourselves. Because Kratos is, of course, the last one who would, cause harm and destruction. And rather than giving the power of hope to Athena, instead we have unleashed it upon the world. But Athena was pissed because the humans won't know what to do with it. Well, we'll just have to figure that out all for ourselves, indeed. Now, how does Kratos live here? Well, he did get god powers again after defeating Hades, so I guess this is something he could survive. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. Though I do like that moment where the spirit of Athena comes back in God of War. So that does make me question, though it is a direct sequel, but it's like in a different realm. There's the Norse realms, and are the Greek realms separate? If so, how did he get from one to the other? I don't know. It's probably been explained, and I know there's something to do with that in Ragnarok. So if it is, just don't spoil it for me. I'll get there when I get there. But yeah, thank you for watching. We finally did God of War, guys. It's gonna be awesome. Hades and God of War are up next when I feel like them. In between me playing Elden Ring, Fortnite Edition, of course. Can't forget about that. Anyway, what could it mean? I don't know. We shall see. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good night.